Yo, what's good, folkers? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. This is Tyrus Bain. Welcome to the Definition of Anarchy channel, where today on May 2nd, 2021, I am going to go over this video Brandon Tatum did in regards to this sort of debate between a professor and a student at Cypress College here in California. I actually did a video on ABL's take, but when he put his video out, I was like, okay, let me see what he's talking about. It might be a little bit more to go through when he does his video. I'm going to see what the different takes is. I might put out both videos. I'll let you guys know. You'll see both probably. But he's going to say, I only watched a few seconds, where he's talking about how the student had this type of poise where that the teacher did not. But I'm going to point out how he was actually not right and how the professor was right, but because she handled herself in a more of a like, oh my God, like a more frustrated and more in a more frustrated way, it makes her look a little bit more foolish, you know, because he's the student and she's the teacher. But let's get into how the Officer Tatum breaks this down. Hold on. Damn it. Thought I had to set it up.
Signed copy. You can get the non-signed copy. Those links are in the description section. The book is already.
Yeah, he's selling a book, Being Black and Blue.
All you got to do is click the link and you'll see it's a #1 bestseller. We want this book to be the greatest police supportive book ever to be written. I really think we can make it to that point. That's my goal. That's my dream. So support the book, support the message, read the book when it comes out. So anyway,
put it in this book.
Let's get into this story. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, these professors want us to go hard. They want us to go. They want us to go super hard.
A professor, the professors who are typically not very hard, right, wants the hard people to go hard, right? So Mr. Hard, Brandon Tatum, wants to go hard at a not so hard professor. Okay, interesting to know.
This young man, and you'll hear it when I play the video, he was incredibly reasonable. This young man had made reference because they were doing presentations at Cypress College or Cypress University. I think it's a college.
By the way, I haven't heard anything beyond this point, so let's see what he's talking about.
It's called Cypress. I got the numbers and the contact information, so y'all can go down there and tell them how you feel about what was presented here and the standard in which their college is being reviewed towards. Anyway,
what?
There was a presentation. I think everybody was having a level of presentation. There was an individual that was completely anti-police, had an anti-police presentation, and this young man, they had a Q&A at the end, or at least they can give comments. He gave his comments very respectfully, very thoughtfully, and an adjunct professor decided to belittle him because he was just keeping it real about law enforcement in America. Listen to what was said and how she responded and how ridiculous it is. And then after that, I'm going to show you the contact information, put it in the description section. You'll see it on the screen. I want you to peacefully, respectfully. This is all public record. This is not doxing or nothing. This is on the website. My wife Googled it. It's on the website. Message her and let them know, the professor in the college and the university and the adjunct professor, let them know peacefully what you think about what you're about to hear. Tell me, is that fair?
Move along.
Bro, it's fun.
All right, so you brought up the police in your speech a few times. So what is your main concern? Since, I mean, honestly, the whole reason police, it is systemic. The issue is systemic because the whole reason we have police departments in the first place, where did it stem from? What's our history? Going back to what Jeremy was talking about, what does it stem from? It stems from people in the South wanting to capture runaway slaves.
False. Somebody say false for 200. False. These people are always making it up. Police were established the runaway slaves. Okay, I'm gonna make a video debunking everything she said. It's false. Let's keep going.
It's not necessarily false. It is not necessarily true. This is what happened. Okay, there were forms of police before slavery, during slavery, all that other shit, right? But it just so happened it turns out that the resources that went into slave patrols, once slavery was over, those same resources and those same were picked up by they just became police officers. She didn't say that slave patrol became the police. She's saying that there were slave patrols that became police officers. I mean, it had to transition. It transitioned into that. They already had those resources, right? There were already sheriffs in towns and whatever. There were already like Pinkerton soldiers who were Pinkerton, and then they had soldiers doing this, that, and the third. But the first official, essentially the first official police department was established by some accounts in Boston, Michigan, or whatever, or Boston, Michigan. They didn't know Boston, Michigan. Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. Technically, police departments, they didn't. The first police department was not a previous slave patrol, but slave patrols did end up becoming police officers. Those same slave patrol employees or whatever became police officers. So that's essentially what happened. You know what I'm saying? He's being a little pedantic. Okay, she's just saying that the history of the policing in this country derived, for the most part, a lot of those individuals that were part of slave patrol became police officers, right? Just like, and that's what happened. She's not really saying that the very first police department was a slave patrol before. She's not saying that, but it is what it is. All right, let's keep going.
Maybe they shouldn't be heroes. Maybe they don't belong on a kid's show.
This is what the other idiot said.
Why is he an idiot? Why is he an idiot? Hold on, I need to rewind that a little bit because.
So I disagree with what Jeremy said about it, because I think cops are heroes and they have to have a difficult job, but we have to have that
all of them.
life.
Maybe they shouldn't be heroes. Maybe they don't belong on a kid.
What Jeremy was talking about, what does it stem from? It stems from people in the South wanting to capture runaway slaves.
False. Somebody say false for.
So she said it stemmed from people in the South wanting to capture runaway slaves. She oversimplified it, but it's partly true. It's not false. Okay, a lot of those slave patrol people had the experience to wrangle and find and investigate, do all that shit to capture slaves. So they moved on to become police officers. That's just a reality. Okay, just a reality. Yeah.
These people always making it up. Police were established the runaway slaves. Okay, I'm gonna make a video.
What did you just say?
Debunking everything she said. It's false. Let's keep going.
Maybe I should listen to ABL. Wait, maybe
they shouldn't be heroes. Maybe they don't belong on a kid's show.
This is what the other idiot said. Keep going.
He's an idiot because he said cops shouldn't be portrayed as heroes on kid shows, basically. How is he an idiot? You're just going to say, he's an idiot, and then keep going? You're not going to explain? You're not going to disprove his argument with facts? Cops aren't heroes. You think they're the greatest heroes in the country, but you can't explain why. Oh, because they put the level on the line to stop crime in blah, blah, the blue blow. No, they don't stop crime. They don't stop crime, right? They show up after the crime has been committed most of the time. They're not out there to stop crime, yo. They don't. The crime has already been committed by the time they showed up. All right? They're there to arrest people who have committed crimes and broken laws. That's what police are for, right? To fill the coffers of the state. They need you to commit crimes. They need you to violate the laws. They need you to commit traffic infractions so that they can get paid. Okay? That's a revenue stream for the state. No, they don't stop crime. They want you to commit the crime. They want to catch you committing the crime. If they stop the crime, what's in it for them? They're not heroes. All right?
So I disagree with what Jeremy said about it because I think cops are heroes and they have to have a difficult job, but we have to have
all of them.
life. Oh, I'd say a good majority of them. You have bad people in every business and every part.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of police officers have committed atrocious.
Why they can't let the man finish?
Why can't they let the man finish? Well, in my mind, if I'm in her shoes, which I'm not, I can't make. I'm assuming he makes an ass out of you and me, but I'm assuming anyway. I'll take the ass. I'll take the ass moniker if I have to. But anyway, I think she knew where he was going with this. Like, you know, he said there are bad people in every facet of society, right? In everything, right? But what happens when you're a bad electrician? What happens if you kill somebody because you're an electrician who performs some faulty installation? You pay heavily for it. What happens in other industries where you screw up? When you just screw up exponentially, you don't get paid administrative leave. You get fired, right? And if you commit a crime on the job, you'll probably go to jail. These are things that police officers don't go through. So maybe she's the one to cut through the bullshit. I don't know. You know, it is what it is.
Why they can't let him finish talking? Because they can't allow reasonableness. This lady is an adjunct professor.
Reasonableness? Okay. I'm going to show you guys how unreasonable this kid was later in the conversation. Okay? I'm going to explain it to you. Because first of all, he acknowledged, yes, there are bad police officers. But he's saying most are heroes. No, they're not. Most are not heroes. Very few heroes, as a matter of fact. Heroes in the police department typically save people from police. And when they do that, they get in trouble. They become ostracized by the department. They're forced to resign. They might end up getting killed. All kind of bad things happen. They get fired. You know what I'm saying? So no, most are not heroes.
She should know better than this.
No, she shouldn't.
And have gotten away with it and have never been convicted of any of it.
And
I say this as a person who has family members who are police officers.
Yes, I understand.
He understands. He just said he understands. But cops are heroes. You understand that, but cops are heroes? When they do bad shit, they don't get convicted, they don't get caught, they don't get tried, they don't get punished as heavily as someone else. You understand that, but they're heroes. Okay, very reasonable.
And this is what I believe. This is my opinion. And this is, not popular to say, but I do support our police, and we have bad people, and the people that do bad things should be brought to justice. I agree with that.
So where's the heroism? You just explained how police officers are not heroes. How you got bad officers in police departments that aren't getting punished or not being held responsible or accountable for their actions. You have yet to demonstrate how they're heroes. You just backed up her point. You said, okay, I agree with you. He agreed with her point. What did she say that was incorrect? You see, Brandon Tatum can't point out that. He can't point out where they're incorrect, where she's incorrect. All he can say is, oh, she interrupted him. Oh, she's behaving like a child. Oh my God, look how she's arguing with the student. But he can't explain where she's wrong at. She's not wrong. Well, we'll see. I haven't listened to this video. I still got more to go through. Let's see.
With somebody, anybody. He sound like he the professor. What's wrong with him saying that? If they do bad, they brought to justice.
No, he did not say that. What? You see why? You see how he tried to twist the words of the student up? No, he didn't say that when they do wrong, they're brought to justice. He's saying he agrees that they should be brought to justice when they do wrong. What are you talking about, B. Tatum? What are you talking about? See how manipulating? He manipulating the situation to make it sound like the student is saying that police are brought to justice. No, that's the problemo, my friendo. These pigs are not being held accountable nearly enough. The lightning strike twice sometimes? Yeah, sure. But not often enough. Not often enough, bro. What are you talking about? He didn't say that. You twisting his words up seconds after he said it? Come on, man.
There should be no rebuttal to that.
Why? Why should there be no rebuttal? There should be no rebuttal to that? Why? Because you happen to like what he said? What are you talking about? There's a rebuttal to any argument. Any argument can be rebutted. What are you talking about? He just told you he stated an opinion. You can rebut opinions all day, just like you can rebut theories. Scientific theories can be rebutted, but we can't rebut his opinion. Scientific theories have to be rebutted until they become what? Scientific fact. Once they become scientific fact, that's it. You don't have to test it anymore. But as long as it's a theory, you can test it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times until it demonstrates itself as a fact. So he's above the realm of the scientific method to where his opinion can't be rebutted. Negro, please.
Police officers do bad things, they never be held accountable. Well, criminals do things all the time and they never be held accountable either.
That, my friends, is the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my life. That is the worst comparison. That is a false equivalency if I've ever heard one. Criminals do bad things in the... What? They're criminals. That's what they do. They do things hoping not to be held accountable. If they don't get caught, how are they going to be held accountable? If they get caught, they're held accountable. What are you talking about? Police can get caught and not be held accountable. Police get caught red-handed doing shit to people that they should not be doing. Yet, they are not held accountable. This is a false equivalency. B. Tatum. So what he's saying is because criminals do bad shit, and he's saying that they get away with it, oh, so should the cops. But the law-abiding citizens running around being subjugated by the motherfucking cops, we supposed to just take it up the ass, right? B. Tatum? Ha!
IT do bad things and are not held accountable. Most police officers who do bad things are held accountable. You just don't like the...
They're not held accountable. You're only held accountable when the consequences for your actions matches the brevity or the magnitude of your actions. Right? A little spanking with a ruler is not going to... That's not a consequence. That's not accountability. If somebody keeps stealing from the cookie jar, if your kids keep stealing from the cookie jar, or they keep trying to put a motherfucking fork in a socket, an electrical socket, which could possibly cause their death, you can slap them on the wrist and they're going to keep doing it, right? No, that's not, they're not being held accountable. You're just spanking them on the wrist. You're spanking them on the top of the hand every time they do it. But they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep doing it. Sometimes the consequences have to be greater than just a little spanking on the hand, right? Sometimes you have to plug the receptacle up to prevent them from sticking the fork in there. And guess what? That's when they stop, because there's no longer two little slots for them to poke it in. And at the same time, you tell them as they get older, look, if there's there's live electricity in there, and if you do this the wrong way, you can get electrocuted really, really badly, and you'll go bye-bye from this earth. But if the slots are open for them to stick shit in, and all you're doing is slap them on the wrist, and that it's not doing anything to deter them, then you have to take greater actions. You have to plug that receptacle with tamper-proof, kid-proof motherfucking shit. Just like with the cops. When they do bad shit, they should be held twice as accountable as a regular citizen. All right? Because they're supposed to enforce the law. But if they're breaking the law, if they're committing crimes, which they're supposed to be locking people up for, then guess what? They need to be, they need to suffer twice the consequences. That will deter them. That'll be a greater deterrent than well, she gonna get 10 years for killing a man in his apartment for eating ice cream. Talking about it was her apartment. You see what I'm saying? So, miss me. They're not held accountable. No, some of them are, every now and then, but not nearly enough, and they don't suffer nearly the amount of consequences they need to suffer. Point blank in the period. All right? Miss me with that shit.
What's her name? Makai Bryant was shot and she's 16. That don't make it wrong. That don't mean the officer's not brought to justice. It's called a justified use of force. Just because you don't like what happened to Tamir Rice don't mean it's...
That's not a good example. Tamir Rice.
Brought to justice. That's a justifiable use of force. You just don't like it.
It wasn't a justifiable use of force. Right? I explained that to y'all, right? It wasn't a justifiable use of force. I hate that word justifiable, by the way. Because it's very subjective what justifiable is. Because I gave you a scenario where they rolled up on a white man shooting at people in the park with a real gun, and how they stood off at a distance and picked him off from a distance, shot him in the leg, and he was still alive. No, that cop rolled right up on Tamir Rice as though he knew he wasn't a real threat. Because anybody with some training and combat training and training in those type of scenarios, they understand that you just don't roll up on somebody in a rolling coffin when they have a gun and you're going to pull up right up on them. No. Brandon Tatum missed me with that bullshit. That's a goddamn lie. Stop using Tamir Rice to explain your shit. Because you're full of shit. All right? Tamir Rice was murdered by that cop. He knew what he was doing. He wanted to kill a little boy that day. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Because anybody with some sense would not roll up on an actual threat that they knew was an actual threat, who had a firearm that could pull out and start blasting on you as you're pulling up right next to them. No, you stand off at a distance, you call for backup, you get your megaphone out, and tell that motherfucker to stand down. That's how you do that. Miss me with the bullshit. This is the same guy who said that if a 90-year-old woman caught in a burglary when he was a police officer, he would have to be prepared to shoot and kill that 90-year-old woman. That's what he said. I showed it in the video. That's real shit. He said that dumb shit. The same numbskull who said that believes that Tamir Rice was justifiably shot.
Let him finish, Brandon. Let him finish.
But I think that say it again.
They haven't.
Well, I agree with you on that point of they should.
He agrees with her. By the way, he agrees with her.
So what is your bottom line point? You're saying...
And this thing, the reason she's doing this, in my mind, is because she knows he has no real argument to back up his police officers are heroes narrative. Because he's agreeing with her. He's agreeing with her. So how are they heroes? Let me say this. Can good cops do good things? Can cops do good things sometimes? Yes, they can. Can good people become cops? Yes, they can. But the problem is not just with the bad cops. It's with the good cops. It's with the good people that are cops that allow the bad shit to continue because they holding up that blue wall of silence, and now they're just indifferent cops. They're good people, but they're indifferent cops. And they do good things out on the street sometimes, but they still enforce and uphold unconstitutional laws. They cannot be good cops.
Be revered, viewed as heroes.
I
They belong
think
on
it's-
TV shows with children.
I think they are heroes in a sense because they come to your need and they come and help you, and they have a problem just like every other business, but we should fix that. But I think they're here.
We should fix that. That's what he said. He believes okay, so he's young. He's a kid. I can give him a pass. I can give him the benefit of the doubt, but I can't give Brandon Tatum the benefit of the doubt because Brandon Tatum can't even acknowledge that there's something needs to be fixed. He doesn't believe that anything needs to be fixed in the police culture. But at least this kid recognizes that. But he still thinks that if you're willing to put on a uniform, right, and go out and risk your life after because that's what you signed up for, by the way. When you did that, when you decided to become a police officer, that's what you signed up for. No one forced you. Just like when I joined the Army and I knew I can go out there and get my head blown off and get my body blown to pieces, I knew that could happen. But I would not be able to use that as an excuse to kill a bunch of kids in Mogadishu, or you know what I'm saying, or rape women in a war-torn village. That doesn't give me carte blanche to do whatever the fuck I want to people just because I signed up to possibly die. that doesn't, signing up to become a police officer knowing that there's a danger involved does not give you the right to do whatever the hell you want to people. And this is the bullshit that we need to pull back on, right? That's what we need to help people understand. You signed up for it. You volunteered. You raised your hand and swore in the Bible that you would uphold and defend the Constitution and people's rights, right? Guess what's included in that Constitution? Huh? The first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights. You swore to uphold that, but then you enforce unconstitutional laws that break every single one of those amendments. That makes you automatically not a good cop. All right? Excuse me.
Well,
I think that's the problem. It's looking at it as a business because they're actually supposed to protect and serve, right? So
they protect and serve. They do. What do you think they do out?
Well, who have they protected? I'm sorry. Who has the police protected? Who have they served? Show me that. Show me where the police have actually protected somebody. They can't. It shouldn't be expected of the police because there are not enough of them to protect everybody. You understand what I'm saying? There's not enough police officers in the world to be posted up in your house, protecting your home and protecting you. This is not enough of them. That's not their duty. Their duty is to respond to calls for crimes in progress. That means it's too late for them to protect you. So guess what you have to do? You have to be empowered and you have to train and learn how to protect yourself. Nothing wrong. You can call the police, but understand when you call them, they're not going to show up in time. 9 times out of 10, they're going to show up after the fact. And every now and then they get lucky when they're really close to a crime in progress. Boom, they can show up and possibly save a life or two. But if you empower yourself, you have to protect yourself. You have to learn how to protect yourself. Stop relying on the police cannot be there in time. When seconds count, police are minutes away. They can't protect you. The most they can do is, you while you're protecting yourself, you hold off an attacker until the police show up and then stop them. But you have been protecting yourself. You have protected yourself until the point the police showed up. Okay? And you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. And it just so might happen that if the police show up, if you call the police and they show up, you might end up getting killed by the police too. I mean, Brandon Tatum did say you might have to kill a 90-year-old woman who called in a burglary.
Why do you think you're not being robbed and raped on a day-to-day basis? Because they're out here protecting and serving. And you know the people that want to come get you, they're in prison right now. Huh? Yeah.
The people that want to come get, they're in prison because they got caught committing a crime. Not because they were stopped in the commission of a crime. Not because the police stopped them. 9 times out of 10, the criminals in prison have already committed the crime. That's why they're in prison. You can't go to prison and be convicted unless you committed a crime. So is it a police officer protecting you from those criminals, or is it the prison system? Which is a whole nother ball of wax. Police officers don't protect you. They don't do that. They ride around in their patrol cars, right? But they're not guarding people. That's not their job. They're not security guards. Okay? They're not security guards. Security guards protect, right? Armored vehicle drivers, they protect the money in that armored vehicle. Actually, the armored vehicle itself is protecting that money once that money is inside the motherfucking vehicle. But the armored car driver, picking up the cash, but during that transition between the cash getting from the bank or the business to the armored vehicle, guess who's protecting it? That security guard, right? Right? Because cops are not going to do it. They can't. So anybody in their right mind, if you handling business and you got money, you got cash on hand all the time that you have to, because you're in a business, it's best to arm yourself so that you can protect yourself. Because a cop, if somebody notices and notices a pattern in how you pick up your money and where you drop it off at, especially if you don't have the money to use an armored vehicle service, you're going to have to learn how to protect yourself, because you can't rely on the police. You can't call the police, hey man, I'm going to the bank. Can you meet me up there and make sure I'm okay? They're gonna laugh at you. Come on, man, miss me.
At university, I'm pretty sure they're predators that will come get you after class, but they're in jail right now. Why, Mr. Tatum? Because a police officer was proactively policing and put them
proactively policing. So you telling me that we have minority report shit going on right now? You're telling me that the police are out there recognizing an individual that is about to commit a crime and stop them before they do it? No, that's what they're working on. They call that the TAP Act. They're working on that. No, they're not doing that, Brandon Tatum. So by his logic, y'all ain't got nothing to worry about. Y'all can just walk freely in the world. Just willy-nilly. Because the cops put everybody in jail already. All the predators are in jail. They're not No, there aren't predators in colleges right now raping women. No, that don't happen. No, you know why? Because the police put everybody in jail. No. The police arrested those people, took them to the police station, and then they were transported to a jail, right? And then they go to court for trial, and if they get convicted, they get taken to a prison. The police just drop people off. Listen, the predators are still out in the streets. You ever heard of Megan's Law? Look that up, Megan's Law. Look up Megan's Law and you tell me if all the predators are in prison, in jail right now. There's no predators walking around trying to do shit to people. Oh no. What's with this guy?
Because the pattern of crime is leading them to victimizing one of y'all. But they're in jail right now because police care. You know why you're asleep, Miss Smarty Pants? While you're asleep, you're dreaming about, I don't know, a leftist utopia. Police officers out there protecting and serving. Criminals don't go to sleep. Crime don't have a bedtime. They still up thugging and tripping, looking to get you. But the police,
I thought they were in jail.
To keep it calm, to enforce the law and protect you while your sorry behind is asleep, complaining about them. Complaining about the men and women who are protecting you while you sleep. You should be ashamed. This lady should be ashamed of herself. The young man was very articulate. Well, I agree with you. If police officers do anything bad, they should be punished.
What do you think? What do you think about that, Brandon Tatum? All that he just said, you throw that shit out the window. Because crime occurs where most of the crime occurs where most of the police officers are. Yet those areas still have the highest crime rate. How is that? You throw more police at a situation, you throw more police in these inner cities, and guess what? It doesn't stop the crime rate from rising up. No. You know why? Because the police do not stop crimes. They arrest people who have committed the crime already. And yeah, they might have stopped a future crime that criminal might have committed by throwing them in jail, but they're going to be replaced by other criminals. What are you talking about? The best thing to do is not to throw more police at it. It's to throw more empowerment at the people. That's what we're missing here.
Talking about everybody agrees with that.
No, they don't.
And from
yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Family members did along.
Brandon, what you talking about? You don't agree with that? What are you talking about? You said what? You don't think that the police? What? Man, he's full of shit.
Don't like what you're saying. Because you're a joke. But you know what? We're gonna tell you. We're gonna talk to you about this, young lady. You left us. I'm gonna get away with doing this. We finna talk. You finna hear from us. You ain't finna just go down there and say that. Let's start with the Queen Bee. Queen Bee, the president. Oh, that's not a representation of what we do for a living. That's not our university's policies. No, I don't want to hear that.
What?
I don't want to hear that. That lady should never be allowed to be on a Zoom call on campus.
Why not?
Ever again.
Why not? You see, well, he's a fucking idiot and a hypocrite. Now he's calling for censorship. Y'all see that, right? This dude is calling for censorship of this professor. What did she say that was incorrect? What did she say that was incorrect? Somebody pointed out to me, because the kid agreed with her. And Brandon Tatum, all of a sudden, he agrees with her too. Ha! What did she say that was incorrect? Did she cuss him out? Did she demean him? Did she launch ad hominem attacks at him? No. She said the truth. That cops are not being held accountable for their actions. How can they be heroes if they're doing bad things and not being punished for it? What are you talking about? You want to censor her because, she interrupted him mid-sentence because she didn't want to hear the bullshit? Because he messed up when he said, oh, they're heroes, right? With the hyperboles of the hero shit. And then go say that he agreed with her that they do bad shit and don't get held accountable. Which one is it? I mean, I know you can have a little bit of nuance. I understand that. Two different things can happen at the same time. I understand that. But his position is they're heroes. He didn't explain how they're heroes, but she did explain how they're not heroes. And he agreed with her. So what? We should censor her though, right? Now you have a right-wing nincompoop calling for censorship when they're complaining 24/7 about censorship. But he's calling for censorship of this adjunct professor because what? Because what? She didn't threaten anybody. She didn't launch any racial slurs. She didn't do any of that. Who's acting like a snowflake now? Who's a snowflake? Come on, man. What was it? What was it?
Not impartial. She's not educating the public.
How's she not impartial? Wait, what? She's not educating the public? What are you talking about?
Brainwashing and biased in her opinions. The brother met her in the middle 45 times, and she can't admit to it. She's a leftist.
She just asked what his point was. So what's your overall point? What's your point of saying that they're heroes when you agree with me? What's your point? What are you talking about, B. Tatum? So you basing her entire career as a professor on this one conversation that she's having with this student, because she's trying to understand how he could say that cops are heroes. When she doesn't agree, she wants to know why. He can't explain why, but she explained why they're not. And he said, okay, I agree. So but they're still heroes. That's not an argument. You're repeating the same thing over and over again. That's not a support of your argument. Okay? You have to support your argument with evidence in order for it to be considered to be a sound argument. He didn't do that. He just said, oh, they're heroes. Just like Brandon Tatum said, the dude that said that cops shouldn't be heroes on TV, kids' TV shows. He said, oh, he's an idiot, and just didn't say why. Why is he an idiot? What did he say that was incorrect? How did he? What proof do you have against what he said? He's an idiot. That's it? This dude.
And if your university don't support that, then you should be standing up against it. Yep, y'all see her name? You can Google her office. Where the next one at? Right here. This is her office. Right here.
I'm done with this. So he goes. So this, I don't know if he's gonna get to you. It's 8 minutes left. I can't do it no more. So what happened a little bit later in the video of the Zoom call is he's like, well, who are you gonna call when, like, say somebody breaks into your house. This is where she screwed up to me. She said, oh, I'm not calling anybody. Right? Okay, that's fine. So he said, oh, so you're gonna have a gun too? No. I'm gonna leave. That's where she screwed up. She should have said, yes, I'm gonna have a gun. I'm gonna protect myself. I'm empowered. Okay, women's empowerment. I went and got a gun and trained in the safe use of that firearm, and you run up in my house, you're gonna eat some lead. That's what she should have said. She would have been a beast, right? Fuck, I bit my tongue. Oh, that hurt. Ugh. That would have been beastly. She would have been a thug at that. She would have been a beast at that point. No, I don't need the police because I'm empowered to have my firearm. I know how to use it. I know my house. I know the layout of my house. I know where to go. I drilled. I trained. I drilled my family, my children, my husband. We all know what to do. So no, I wouldn't call the police until after I was done clearing my house. Or I would have a designated person hide in a closet somewhere and call the police while we handling business. And hopefully we're done by the time the police showed up and we can lay down our weapons and lay down on the ground so that when the police come in there, they don't just start shooting at everybody. But, you know, it is what it is. She didn't say that. That's a step that, see, that's why people like me, that is my duty. Okay? That's my goal, is to get to the position to and educate people like her on how to really empower themselves. After we get through the hurdle of all the gun control bullshit, getting that eradicated, then we can start working on empowering the people, getting them trained up. That's what I want to be a part of. That's my goal. That's how I'm going to improve my community. Empower the people that have been victimized by the government, that have been made to be dependent upon the government, okay? So that we can do our own damn thing. So we don't have to rely on them. We don't have to rely on the police. We don't have to call them for every goddamn thing. We don't have to call them when an Hispanic man, a homeless person, is just sitting on the grass minding his own business. You know, oh, he looks like a threat to me. Oh, I'm going to call the police. Oh, my wife is scared of him. No. You know, my wife is going to be like, I ain't worried about him. I got my shit. You know what I'm saying? You run up on me. I know how to use my knife. I got my snub nose. I could pop him if I have to. It is what it is. I ain't scared of him. Let him do his thing. Let him mind his own business. What's wrong with that? Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. Was Brandon Tatum on point on this one? Right? Did he know what he was talking about? Or what did the professor say that was incorrect? What did the professor say that was incorrect? She might have cut him off, you know, while he was saying something. But what did she say that was incorrect, except when she said that she wouldn't have a gun if somebody broke into her house? That was wrong to me. But what else? Anything? Or are cops just heroes automatically off the gate, no matter what they do and no matter what they say and all this other bullshit? Let me know. Holla at y'all later. Much love. Peace out. And I'll catch you on the next one. Don't mind the spit flying from my mouth, okay? Peace.